Welcome to it, sports fans. The MKT Show. I'm MKT. This is the 22nd. Had a bit of trouble today with the date. Kept going with the 21st. No good. That's one day ago. There is no yesterday. There is only today and tomorrow, you know. As I'm sure somewhere, somebody with tight pants and spandex and a top that's too tight and a man bun will tell you, there is no today, there is no yesterday, there is only today and tomorrow. Some ridiculous quote like that on a picture where they're looking over a lake. People are out here, man. People are out here. But I am feeling spiritually connected. I've had a good day. I managed to get some exercise in. Had some good food today. Had some good food. I've had some mediocre food lately, but I'm feeling good today. Welcome to it, MKT Show. I'm here. It's just me and Dave. And G. Cliff to my right, social distancing or physical distancing. Actually, this is something I do need to address. Stop saying social distancing, right? We're out of that now globally, most of us. The social distancing was when you had to stay at home. So please tell your friends, tell the people next to you, stop saying social distancing, physical distancing. That's where we are now, 1.5 meters. It's called physical distancing. So, you know, not just the best sports show in the world, but also we're teaching people things, and you're welcome. You are welcome. Listen, what a weekend of Premier League football. Just mad results. Mad results. And, you know, today I'm going to talk a little bit about what we learned, but just some incredible, incredible results. Man City last night looked imperious. And I love saying one thing. My favorite line on planet Earth is, "I told you so." It's Pep Guardiola's last season. Kun Aguero's last season, Fernandinho's last season. They're not going to go out like last season. That's not how it works. Man City are going to drill everybody, but we'll get into that as the season goes on. So much else that went down. Son Heung-min, I mean, geez, 4 goals. What a weekend of sport. Bryson DeChambeau, for those that didn't catch it. The physicist who's just put on 40 pounds in lockdown. 9 protein shakes a day he was taking. He did his thing. I think he's the only man to go under par to win the US Open. So awesome there. What a great weekend. By the way, last night, Drew Brees, noodle on. No Michael Thomas, no Likey. So the NFL, awesome. Great, listen, great news for that division. If you're a Tom Brady fan, good news. Because Brady's on the up. Drew Brees, noodle on. That thing is floating to his receivers. And Michael Thomas, big body, get open. And really, he extends the receiving window. So New Orleans, as they say, New Orleans are in trouble. And it's his last season. Drew Brees, he's off to CBS next year, or NBC, wherever it may be. Big money contract offered already. And they've gone all in. The salary cap, they are in a hell on New Orleans. So see how that goes. Who dat, they say. Who dat. By the way, if you have not joined the fantasy, I had a crackerjack weekend. Right, the password, the MKT Show FPL, the letter N, all lowercase, N1IHEH. That is N, the number 1, IHEH, MKT Show FPL. Come see if you can defeat me. I had a crackerjack week. Moved up. I think I'm 9th in the group. Oh, man. We'll get on that tomorrow. We'll do the fantasy review tomorrow. But for today, you know, after watching 2 weekends of football, I think I've seen what I need to see. I've seen what I need to see in terms of football, in terms of... we are who we are in life. We must all accept that. We are who we are. And there's a great saying, and you'll hear me say it often on here. I got a great mother. She taught me lots of lessons. They're all coming to... and it scares me how many of them are coming true now. But she says to me, number one, people are who they are. But more importantly, is when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. So before the Chelsea game, and we're going to get into it. Before the Chelsea game, I put out a Facebook post. So an hour before every kickoff, the teams are released. Right? I saw that Kepa Arrizabalaga and Jorginho were in the team sheet. So this, and I'm an I told you so type of guy. Listen, if you don't like that kind of person, we can't be friends. I will come to your face and say, I told you so. I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world to say. But I said, for whatever reason, Lampard is starting Jorginho and Kepa. We've lost 4-0. I was wrong. We lost 2-0. Who cost us the game? Kepa Arrizabalaga, the through ball of the century. If Kepa didn't get an assist on Football Manager, it's a crime. Right? His pass to essentially kill off the game. From there, it's 2-0. Already with the red card, Christensen's off. Game over. But then Timo Werner, and this is what great players do. This is where I saw that Chelsea have brought not a good player, a great player. Because the talent is never the question with these guys. It's the character. Werner said, let me put it on my shoulders. That's very, very rare. That is very, very rare. And Werner did what he could, won that penalty. And then Jorginho, already Jorginho had the game he's going to have. Jorginho, since the beginning, I've been saying, I'm happy for people to go back 12 months on my timeline. My feelings on Jorginho. Go back 12 months on my timeline. Feeling on Kepa Arrizabalaga. My rule with goalkeepers, if you are below 190, I don't even consider you a goalkeeper for my football club. That's 190 centimeters, by the way. Anything below 190 centimeters is not a goalkeeper for me. Unless, asterisk, you're Saint Iker Casillas. That is the only keeper below the height of 190. And there's a reason he's called a saint. Because the things he did, listen, he was, do you know what? There's a reason he's a saint. He was divine. He was divine. He was different. It was like somehow he'd been infused with a puma's genes, but a human body. That is the only person under 190. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. Kepa Arrizabalaga. Now, Kepa's problem is he's not even good with his feet. So what is he giving you? Because he's not dominant, and we've seen how he flaps at the crosses. But it's not because he's not good in the air. He can't get to the crosses. So what is he adding as a goalkeeper? Edison's 188. A lot of people think he's also short. Edison's 188, which isn't ideal either. It's still too small for me for a keeper. He's 5'6" centimeters too short. But then the crucial moment, I think when Jorginho missed the penalty, it really kind of encompassed everything that he's done. It was a tame effort. It lacked any power. It lacked any conviction. And from there, it was over. Because you stick that away, there's about 20 minutes to play. It's uncomfortable for Liverpool now. They've taken off Jordan Henderson. They've got Thiago in an uncomfortable position. And I think Thiago struggled on defense. People blew by him. I think Liverpool fans might see, we've got ourselves a Jorginho. We got to kind of babysit Thiago because he's got nothing physically. But my goodness, going forward, we saw he's spectacular. So we learned what we learned about Chelsea. What do we learn? Lampard's stubborn because he won't move off Jorginho and Kepa. I will make no excuses as a Chelsea fan. And now Frank Lampard has no excuses. Right? Now he has no excuses. And this is not to say I'm saying Lampard out but what we cannot afford to do at Chelsea Football Club and any football club that wants to win. It's not acceptable to lose. Right? And it's not acceptable to lose when you've got other options. He's got Willy Caballero and he's got Callum Hudson-Odoi on the bench. Mason Mount can easily play in the midfield. You drop Kovacic into CDM and you move on. Listen, you lose with that, that's okay. But no excuses. You chose Kepa, you didn't have to. You chose Jorginho, you didn't have to. I'll say it again. Jorginho is invisible without the ball. And I'm afraid with Chelsea at the moment, they're trying to play the high press. If your CDM isn't pressing high and they beat that first press, well, then they're at Jorginho and he's invisible. I mean, they blow right by him. He couldn't run a bath. Forget about running to chase somebody else. So Lampard, injuries and Havertz and Ziyech still to come back and Pulisic still to come back. I don't want to hear that. Because what I will not tolerate as a Chelsea fan is that you think it's acceptable to have losing as an attitude. We can't do it. You picked Jorginho, you picked Kepa, when you didn't have to. Lampard, so that's on you. So what we've learned is everything is on Lampard's shoulders now. He didn't stick with the kids, so he gets no leeway. I'm sorry, we've learned that. He is who he is. He's going to do it his own way. When you do things your own way, you want to be an island, you want to be a man of your own, fall on your own sword. This is the season for Lampard. He has until the end of this season. Top 3 is non-negotiable now. It's not negotiable. We've seen enough of Kepa. We've seen enough of Jorginho. They ain't it. They ain't it. The second club where I observed something very interesting, I think Arsenal and the fans, we learned something about Arsenal as well. And the lessons I learned from Arsenal, watching the shape that Arsenal were this season, this weekend, they played West Ham, didn't go according to plan. But my biggest lesson taken from this Arsenal game was that Mikel Arteta and Arsenal are going to be a bumpy ride up front. So it's almost like the honeymoon is on the back end. It's not like a normal relationship where the honeymoon's up front, right? And then on the back end, you're going to struggle. Right? Honeymoon is on the back end. Because what Arsenal showed me was that Arteta's intense. He's going to be demanding. Now, for a football club that hasn't been intense, that hasn't been demanding for 17 years, that's a problem. That's a problem. I mean, I don't know if people out there, if you've got work colleagues where you come from an old company where you were successful, you go to another company that's maybe a startup or maybe not quite as successful, and you try and guys go home 8 to 5. They leave at 5 o'clock. Right? That can be difficult for people because Arteta's coming from Manchester City where it's non-negotiable to be the best. It's non-negotiable to be intense. It's non-negotiable to be the fittest club in the. It's not technically you need to be where you need to be. And demanding people aren't for everybody, by the way. But what they will do is reveal character. So I think it'll be bumpy up front, and I think Arteta will bump heads with the board as well. It's not going to be easy for the Arsenal board when you're manager, because if you didn't see, there has been a slight change in his title. Coach, he's no longer head coach, he's now the manager. That gives him executive capacity as well. That'll put pressure on Edu, by the way. That'll put massive pressure on Edu because Arsenal haven't had a demanding manager ever. I mean, 17 years. Wenger at the beginning, maybe, but we saw the last 17 years that Wenger was just happy to kind of maintain. He's demanding, he's intense. Demanding and intense people expect results. And what happens when we expect results in life? Conflict. Conflict. When people are demanding, there is conflict because winning is an ugly business. And winning, by the way, is not for everybody. What we learned about Arsenal is, I tell you what, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're going to learn over the next 6 months what your board and what your football club actually is. Not what you think they are, what they actually are. Because when you put people under pressure, when you put environments under pressure, you get to learn what they are. Arsenal's been on a, listen, it has been a cozy ride for Arsenal executives, Arsenal coaches. Arsene Wenger was on the dreamboat for the last 17 years. No intensity, no pressure, kind of top 4. Mikel Arteta's not here for that. You can see he's a winner. But that's not going to be okay because let me tell you something. The expectation at first team level filters down through the club. And what's it been at Arsenal? And I'm afraid Arsenal Football Club, I think it was 2008, 2009, Arsene Wenger said top 4 is a trophy. At that very moment, Arsenal died. The Arsenal as we knew them became just Arsenal. 2008, 2009, if I remember correctly, Arsene Wenger said top 4 is a trophy. Arteta's not about that. Folks, if you've had a fight with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mom, your dad, if your parents are demanding, how does that go for you at home? It never goes well for one party. You see how, hey, success breeds success. Maybe you have successful friends with successful parents and you go, oh my goodness, their mom and dad so hard on them. That's because they know it takes what to win. And we, you know, some people, and it's not for everybody. Some people go, oh my word, I just want work-life balance. There's no work-life balance if you want to win, people. It's not possible. Elon Musk doesn't, you know, Elon Musk, I understand, has been through 8 CEOs in the last 2 years. Winning's an ugly business. Steve Jobs. People said they would leave the office, he's still at the office. They'd come back to the office, he's been home, showered, eaten, and he's back at the office. It's an ugly business. Mikel Arteta is trying to change a culture. Hey, it's not for everyone. But I think what you saw as well, every football club, every sports team, folks, and you could say every environment in the world, it's exactly the same. Every environment in the world will always mirror the image and character of the leader. And what we saw, some steel. Arsenal had steel because Arsenal weren't meant to win that game against West Ham. They got outplayed for 70 minutes. And be honest, 9 times out of 10 over the last 17 years, you would have lost that game. But Mikel Arteta has got them organized. He's got them intense. So in sport, you'll win when 2 things happen. You're organized, right? Which means you've got shape. You're fundamentally sound without the ball or possession. This is any sport. The New England Patriots have made a dynasty of it. We'll win without the ball. It helps that we got Brady. That's why Brady was just a system quarterback, which is not an insult. If you can defend, if you show character, when the chips are down, right? Character will always defeat talent. And they've got talent. Oh, Aubameyang, Lacazette, they've got talent. Eddie Nketiah, absolutely brilliant. So they are now organized. There is a plan. And now they're starting to mirror their manager. Ruthless, no emotion. And the great thing about Arteta is he's shown he will cut you. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you think you are. The hell out of here. I said it. I think I said it yesterday. Was in life, and I think you see it with intense people. I like to think myself as a pretty intense person. I have to be honest. You are either. You're always one of 2 things for me in my life. And I'm seeing this with Mikel Arteta, with Jose Mourinho, with all the great ones, with Fergie, all the great sports managers that I follow. Bill Belichick, Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. That top echelon. Tom Brady. You are either helping me solve my problems or you are one of my problems. That's just what it is, folks. At the top level of anything, you are either one of my problems or you're helping me solve my problem. There is nothing in between. Everything in between is cannon fodder. Mikel Arteta is telling you, right? Guendouzi, quality, we've signed you. Get the hell out of here. That attitude, we saw what happened with Malpe. He had some things to say. Arteta says, if that's your attitude, get it out of here. Because you're a problem. You're either solving my problems, right? Or you're one of my problems. And Arsenal should celebrate that. But folks, listen, honeymoon's going to be on the back end. Arsenal has plenty of deadwood to clear out. It's going to be ugly. If you're an Arsenal fan, strap in because there's deadwood. There's terrible attitudes that need to go. With all due respect, I guess the easiest example is if you've become overweight, you don't lose weight like that, right? You have to shed bad behavior. You have to shed bad habits. Shedding bad habits takes much longer than shedding good habits. Shedding bad habits is a nightmare. Bad diets, bad, self-worth, self-image. This is what Arsenal had, right? No self-confidence. That takes time. It takes time to shed those bad habits. Arsenal are going to have to take time, but it's going to be bumpy. Like losing weight, it's a bumpy road. You're going to slip up. Every now and then you'll see the old Arsenal because it's in the fabric of the club. But you've seen intensity and a desire to win. Arsenal, remember, gratification will come afterwards. Unlike your normal relationship, the honeymoon is on the back end. So good luck to the Gunners. Strap in, Arsenal fans. That's what I learned. Intensity. Expect intensity, organized, and demanding. That's what Arsenal are now. And give that enough time. Give it enough quality. The buy-in. You will win. Arteta will win. Give him 3-4 years. Get rid of the deadwood. Arsenal will win. But be willing to suffer in the short term. That's what I learned about the Gunners. Let's move over to the other side of North London. Look, folks, I was talking to an office mate of mine a couple of hours ago. We were in a work meeting. And we were just chatting after the meeting. And I said, somebody said to me, a 92-year-old, very wise person said to me a couple of years ago, if you want to reduce the anxiety in your life, and she was giving me a life lesson, and she's given me so many great life lessons as Joy. She says to me, The only way to reduce personal anxiety, so forgetting what's outside in the world, is accept what you are. And then, secondly, accept your role in life. Accept what you are, and then accept your role in life. Tottenham Hotspur need to admit one thing. And this is difficult because they've got one of their own. Son Heung-min is their best player. Just accept it. Like, it's not hard. Accept it. The world is as it is, people. It's not how you want it to be. The world is as it is. And Tottenham are operating. There's something called cognitive dissonance. You're seeing it all over Tottenham right now. They are so desperate for Harry Kane to be the pin-up boy, to be their best player, to be the one they sell. That matters, people. Sportsmen take this thing personally. Don't you look at Son Heung-min and think he's, Mr. Cool K-pop, famous in Asia. And Son Heung-min's the real deal. Just forget about the 4 goals this weekend. Son Heung-min is the real deal. He's their best player. And he's actually their best player by some distance. You've seen when Kane is out what happens. He looks like Leo Messi. So don't look at the 4 goals on the weekend as an anomaly. Son has been this for 2 years. But Tottenham understand the commercial side. Harry Kane, of course, is the big commercial side. You sell a British player, he's England's number 9, blah, blah, blah. Folks, accept what you are. There's a reason Tottenham aren't playing well. The chemistry's off because the guy you're handing the team to is the wrong person. Harry Kane's not a leader. Son, it's so natural for Son. You see how when Son scores, there's celebrations, there's handshakes that he's planned with players. He's the guy. Harry Kane's not the guy. Everybody, listen, you've seen All or Nothing. You saw that. What the hell was that team talk by Harry Kane? It seems so unnatural to him. It seems so unnatural. Leadership's not for everybody. Don't force people into positions of leadership because you know what happens? They get exposed. Harry Kane's not a leader. Doesn't mean he's not a quality player. It's not any less to say, hey, Son's our number 1. Harry Kane's our 1A. He's our assist. Son is a natural superstar. He is the guy in Korea. They love him. He shines in the spotlight. Harry shrinks. Remember the season when Leicester won the title? What did Harry do? Harry, here's your chance. Shrank. Son Heung-min is your best player. Now Tottenham, accept that. What I saw is a football club in denial. What else did I learn? Jose Mourinho, by the way, it's not going to work. Because Jose is now in a problem. The Dele Alli thing is taking too long to deal with. And one thing Jose doesn't tolerate, we've seen it at every single club, is when he doesn't have power. The Dele Alli thing doesn't seem nice because from what I've heard, and I still do know people that work at Tottenham, Dele's gone upstairs. And that isn't going to work. Jose Mourinho is quite literally all or nothing. If you haven't seen the All or Nothing series, go and Google it, Amazon Prime. Absolutely fantastic. Jose is all or nothing. He has all the power, or in his mind, he has no power. Now, Daniel Levy, I said this. I said, look, I think it was going to work with Daniel Levy, and I still think it will work. But Daniel Levy has to surrender to say, Mourinho, it's all you. Right? I'll play more general manager role. I'm in the background. The Dele Alli story, if true, I don't know if it's true. If true, is going to be a problem. I think it's going to work. 2 smart, intense people, Mourinho and Levy, but I don't think it's going to work if this is the way. Because the reason Jose left Chelsea the first time, John Terry, Drogba, we all know, they went upstairs and they said, this guy. It's out now. It's out in the open. And it's not going to work if that persists. Because Jose Mourinho demands everything from everybody all the time on his terms. 2 things. Tottenham must learn. Son is your best player. And Jose Mourinho must be everything. And lastly, the Ndombele thing's not going to work. Once again, let's accept the world as it is, not how we want it to be. After Ndombele set up that goal, Jose hooked him off. There's clearly something tactical that he's not doing. Even when they're winning, he hooks him. Folks, it's not going to work. Ndombele's got to go. And I think Ali's got to go sooner rather than later. And they have to go now, by the way. Let's not wait till the end of the window. Tottenham, accept what you are. Jose's got all the power. Get rid of the players. That's what you have to do. You have to do what it takes to win. Because life is a gamble either way for Tottenham. And for me, I said it the other day. I don't like working with young people. If you're under the age of 30 years old, you make me nervous. Young people are erratic. One day they feel this way. Their boyfriend, their girlfriend dumped them, so they're emotional. I don't like it. The nice thing about Jose is you know what he's going to be. Intense, demanding, and you're going to win if you stick with him. I don't care what... Jose's not washed up. He needs time, though, to get people on his side because he's quite unpleasant. It's his way or the highway. And I know with the new kids, everybody wants to express themselves, and I want to enjoy myself at work. Jose Mourinho says, get that the hell out of here. There's a system. I'm here to win, not enjoy myself. I'm here to win. And winning's not pleasant. I don't care. Don't let anybody tell you winning is pleasant. It is certainly not pleasant. Not functionally anyway. Outcomes, maybe. I'm not an outcomes-based guy. I'm a process person. The process of winning is ugly. It's gruesome. And this new age thing, guys, I know work-life balance and I want to do yoga on Tuesday mornings. Get that the hell out of here. Jose Mourinho wants to win. And that's not easy. Ali's got to go. Ndombele's got to go. Mourinho doesn't want them. What more do you need to see? Tottenham are in an identity crisis. And this is where Tottenham get to decide. Do we want to be a super club or are we happy to just be top six and collect money? That's up to Daniel Levy. That's what I learned this weekend. Identity crisis at Tottenham. And the fourth club, and the last club I want to address, I think they had the worst result of the season. Oh, well, it's so far. Look, the Man United result, you know, we can only do excuses for so long. Ollie's a legend at Man United, so everybody wants it to work. I understand that. But when it's 320 million pounds later, it's Lindelof later, it's Pogba later, it's Fred later, it's Aaron Wan-Bissaka later, and you are who you are now. We've seen what we need to see. Ollie's not going to show us anything else. And let's accept Man United are who they are. We saw the honeymoon up front, 22 games or whatever, and they fell apart. So this wasn't a shock, by the way. For most Man United fans, let's be honest. And people are saying, oh, it was their preseason game. Man United had no preseason. Folks, it's not about the performance. The talent thing, they should be out of the stratosphere compared to Crystal Palace. But you say, okay, I'll tell you what. It was Palace's second game. They had a preseason, blah, 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 blah. What I won't excuse is the attitude. Man United's players got outworked. Forget about fitness for a second. There's no preseason for attitude. And what did I say just now? All football clubs, all sports clubs resemble their leader. That's what Ollie is. Right? Short on details, I'm afraid. Tactically, United were awful. It was clear what Palace were going to do. They were going to catch you on the break, and once they beat the press, schlup, right? It was schlup, and it was the Ivorian international, Zaha, right? That's what it was. Up the middle, one pass around the corner, and then they're at you. Okay, Ollie, we saw that in the first 10 minutes. When are you going to adjust? Make the changes, either tactically or personnel. How long did it take him to bring Van der Beek on? So we've seen what we need to see. Sloppy attitude. And Ollie, that starts with Ollie. Think of a Man United team. Think of a Jose team. When you describe the manager, you can't actually describe the manager without describing the team. Fergie, what are his characteristics? Intense, aggressive, right? A bit of bastard, nasty. Think of all... Hey? That's Fergie. Mourinho, pragmatic. Right? Old, consistent. The finest. You see how Mourinho dresses. You see how he carries himself. He's with Jaguar. He's got the tag. I believe it's Tag Heuer. I forget the watch company he's with, but he works with the finest brands. You know, he's got that silver fox kind of image that his PR team is clearly trying to spin. You can see a Mourinho. That's the image of his sides. So, sanctimonious. A little bit of a nasty, devilish side. That's Mourinho, right? His teams are his personality. Pep Guardiola, idiosyncratic, right? Clever. You see how twitchy he is. All of his teams, always little details. academic, extremely academic Pep. Obsessive, driven. Right? You see how Pep is on the line. They're 4-0 up and he's up telling his left back to press on. So, Ollie, I've seen everything I need to see. Sloppy, and then the attitude comes from the manager. There's no preseason. Don't tell me about preseason. There's no preseason for attitude. What I saw against United, you are what you are now. Whilst Ollie's there's going to be a sloppy attitude. I don't want to hear excuses. £320 million. There's no excuses anymore. You've had 12 months now. What's the direction? What's the direction? Give me a direction. So, because this is what you're going to be, sloppy. Mikel Arteta in 3 months, I saw. Intense, organized. Boom. What are Man United? You can't tell me counter-attacking because it's really not counter-attacking. It's you can't tell me creative. You can't tell me high press, low. Are they playing a low block? Are they trying to play quick tempo? What are you? What is your identity? The only consistent thing, and you have to be honest as Man United fans, that we've seen is sloppy. It's sloppy. Because it's not about the talent on the team. You got Harry Maguire, world record. You got David De Gea. You've got Lindelof. He cost a fortune. You've got Fosu Mensah, who probably is Manchester United's next captain. Luke Shaw, you spent over £35 million on him. You got Paul Pogba, world record. You've got, McTominay. He's one of your own. He's come through your school. He understands. Up front, you've got apparently the dream three in world football. Daniel James, everybody's raving about the next Ryan Giggs. You've got Anthony Martial, the most expensive teenager to ever play in English football. You've got Marcus Rashford, who everybody says is Pelé. You've got Bruno Fernandes, who apparently is the second coming of Manuel Rui Costa. So don't tell me about talent. Tell me about attitude. Tell me about attitude, folks. Let's be honest. We're all grown-ups here, right? We are all grown-ups here. And I'm not an ABU, by the way. I see what I see. And what I saw is sloppy. It's not a talent issue. My prediction for United is it's going to be bumpy. And it's going to be awkward. The old adage is nobody gets married to get divorced. But I'm afraid, Ollie, TikTok. I ask you as United fans, folks, if I'm still seeing what I'm seeing now at Man United, all the way up, all the way down, by November, in December, we have to have some awkward conversations because Mauricio Pochettino still doesn't have a job. And we're £320 million in now. And counting. And, stop telling me about Jadon Sancho. You got enough in-house to beat Crystal Palace at home. And worst case scenario, I tell you what, Ollie. Okay, you haven't had preseason, you haven't had this. You know what real mature people do? Accept your reality. Be compact. Then you don't play your natural game. You say, okay, we need to be compact because Crystal Palace are ahead of us in terms of schedule. We're going to be compact and we're going to play on the counter-attack. Let's humble ourselves to our reality. The world is as it is, not how you want it to be. And you accept, okay, my team is not firing at 100%. Let's be humble. We play tight, 4-5-1, and we'll play the long ball out to Martial. We'll play the long ball out to Rashford. But no, you want to be expansive. You want to play your normal games though you're 100%, and then you want to make excuses that it didn't work out. Come on, folks. We have to take responsibility in life. Sloppy is what I saw from Man United. It's not an ability thing. It's an attitude thing. And attitude has no preseason, so don't tell me about that. So if you're a Man United fan, what I learned about your football club this season, and I've seen what I need to see. Not good with details, right? And the attitude isn't Manchester United. Tell me a manager where their personality doesn't match their football club if you give it 6 months. Mauricio Pochettino, he comes in. What do you get straight away? Nasty, organized, high press. And what was he as a player? What is he as a manager? Unbelievably demanding. He's unbelievably intense. Right? And you can see he's a nasty bug. I mean, listen, his best friend Diego Maradona is still the best player I've ever played with. A leader in his time, a captain wherever he went, Pochettino. A leader of men. Nasty, organized, brutal. And you saw that with Tottenham. You saw that at Southampton straight away. Smart as well. Really, really cerebral guy. You saw that listen, go and look up tapes of Espanyol in the beginning. Smart, organized, refined. That's how I described Pochettino when I see him. How do you describe Oli? You look at his interviews. I mean, the excuses with we expected Greenwood to be arrested. From a PR side, how sloppy is that? Just everything about United right now, like tie it together. Like the thing is, I'm old. I've seen Alex Ferguson. You remember how he treated the media? We're Man United. You shut the hell up. We'll tell you what the narrative is. You don't tell us. That was Fergie, right? Intense, brutal, the world against us, and screw you, you're all a bunch of bastards. Get the hell out of my face. We're Man United, and we're always right. And to the point where we started to buy into Fergie time. You're Man United. Nobody should be psychologically bullying you. If you wanted Greenwood arrested, you pull him from the England side. You don't ask for permission. Folks, power is not given, it is taken. Respect and this nonsense of, I hear it all the time. Maybe I'm getting too old. Stop telling me about respect is earned. Respect is not earned, it is taken. Stop reading your Oprah books and Dr. Phil books and thinking it's the world's cutie out there. It's not. You want respect, you go and take it. I don't care what it is, whether it's in your personal relationships or work. You want to be respected, you go and take it. Man United. The reason Man United dominated, they didn't always have the best talent. Let's be honest. They paid for some rubbish talent. That's for sure. Fergie spent the most in the first 15 years of the Premier League. No doubt. But what else did Fergie do? He didn't just spend. Psychologically, he dominated the rest of the league. You were very clear about what Man United was. Very, very clear. Is we're the biggest, we're the baddest, and we won't apologize for it. And we'll even bully the media. Now the media is bullying Ollie. We'll bully England. I mean, Fergie was pulling guys like Ryan Giggs. It was amazing how many of United stars had a tight hamstring on international break week, if you go back and read that. United now, sloppy, complaining about Greenwood in the media. Sloppy. You don't do that. Ollie, hold it together. Those are my thoughts. That's what I've learned about those 4 Premier League teams. I would love to hear what people are thinking. Love to hear what you're thinking. Listen, tell me what you're thinking after this Q&A. With me, MKT. Welcome back to it, the MKT Show. I am MKT. Hey, David LaRue, let's get straight into it. By the way, Gareth Cliff, that's that guy over there. I am not Gareth Cliff. He is Gareth Cliff. That is Cliff Central. It's clever because he's Gareth Cliff. Let's get into the questions. Shane Parsons says, Hamburg player banned for 5 games for assaulting a spectator. Is 5 games enough? I mean, who wants a player like that on their team? Listen, footballers can be crazy people. If you haven't seen the incident, just go on YouTube. It's absolutely mental. I understand there was some other stuff in the background said to him, but it's intense. Listen, he better be the player of the season when he comes back. Otherwise, you got to go for that. See, the difference is if in life, be who you can afford to be. If you're Eric Cantona and you fly kick somebody in the face, I don't mind because you're good enough to do that. If you're Diego Maradona and you go and, Will Ferrell calls it the sugar booger, you go and do your cocaine thing and you suspend it for 6 months, 12 months, whatever, you can afford it. My thing is, be who you can afford to be. If you're great, you can get away with this. If you're not, goodbye. Simple as that. So 5 games, probably not enough. I think he probably deserved 20, 30 games, maybe a season now. That was madness. Hamburg player, oh, wow, that was wild. Dave, what's next? Rikus Swart says, I am a Man United fan. However, I was shocked when Ollie said that he could count on his one hand the number of training sessions they had before the Palace game. That is his own fault. Rikus, why would you even say that in public? A mentor of mine has a great saying. He goes, you have two options at work. Excuses or solutions. One of those will get you fired. Nobody in the world cares, and this might be brutal, but this is what I believe. Nobody cares about your excuses in life. Nobody cares about what you can't do in life. Tell me what you can do. Right? Like you want to add something to my life. Ollie, why would you come out from a PR perspective for your players? Is now you're saying excuses are okay. I've never known Sir Alex Ferguson once. I've never heard Sir Alex Ferguson once make an excuse. And I have to be honest, I hate Man United. But you have to tell it how it is. I've never heard Sir Alex Ferguson once make an excuse. Oh, it was training or whatever. You know what Fergie always said? It's me, it's my players. There's no blaming England. There's no, So what you're telling us, Ollie, is you didn't... So is that his excuse for saying the pandemic? The preseason was too short? Ollie, there's no excuses. Everybody's preseason was the same length. I don't understand what he's doing PR-wise. It just doesn't feel like Man United, right? It's almost like you're the biggest bad guys in town, but your self-worth is like some mid-table team. It's like you're Microsoft, but you want to behave like a startup in someone's garage. Elon Musk doesn't apologize for being a cocky bugger. Man United need a manager, and I think if they'd given Mourinho time, you might have gotten there. Be who you are. You're the big bad bullies. Be like America. We have the biggest army. We don't care who you are. If you have oil, we're coming through. That's like, don't apologize for who you are. So, Rikus, I totally agree with you. I don't understand what Ollie is doing. And if you're a Man United fan, it has to disturb you that for the first time, I mean, it's been a mess since Fergie, right? Whenever in sporting circles, you hear noise outside of the dressing room, you have to wonder. Because under Fergie, you don't hear players talking nonsense. And what happened when players started to be too big? David Beckham, you want to be a spice boy? Get the hell out of here. Job Stam, you starting to talk about being the best in the world and starting to believe the hype? Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. And at your peak, by the way, Ruud van Nistelrooy started talking about new contract. I'm one of the best in the world. What did Fergie do? Prime, in your prime. You want to go to what? Our opposition in Europe, Real Madrid. Get the hell out of here. Folks, like, let's accept it. Ollie, sloppy. You're at Man United, not Cardiff anymore, man. So Ollie is what he is. Maybe he's not the guy. You got to accept it, but it's tough. Nobody gets married to get divorced, and it hurts even more when you love the one you have to leave. So Rikus, great point. All on Ollie. Jesse Randolph says, Arsenal always played beautiful football, but under Arteta, it's more organized and structured. With Wenger, it was more free-flow, instinctive. Off the ball, they have never been better. That is an incredibly well-put message. I have to absolutely agree with that. And I think, Jesse, I'd love to hear your point, but what I like about the pragmatic approach that Arteta, he's showing everything I believe an intelligent person does. Right? You might have a vision of maybe returning to that Arsenal, playing in the Barcelona, playing in the Ajax way. He might have that long-term vision, but he's saying, what is my reality now? Let me adjust to my reality now without losing sight of the vision. And you have to commend Arteta for that. Right? Because you know what the great thing in life is, especially in sport, that's why I love sport, is you will get all the glory, you will get all the blame. What Arteta is showing you is that when I get fired, it's because of what I do. You look over at Manchester United, it's starting to sound like it's everyone else's fault all the time. So when I get fired, it's that person's fault. That Arteta's kind of showing you, guys, it's my way or the highway. When I get fired, it's going to be on my terms. And what that shows me is intelligence. And people will follow that. People don't have to like you to follow you, by the way, people. We've seen that with Fergie. We've seen that with Mourinho. You don't have to like the person to follow them, but you have to be consistent. And what has Arteta shown you? Ruthless, brutal, unforgiving. Guendouzi, get the hell out. And what he's showing you is, oh, by the way, there is redemption. We've seen it with 2 or 3 players. Xhaka, we thought he'd never come back. My goodness, he threw the captain's arm back. But Arteta said, there is a way back. So, Mustafi, there is a way back. He's consistent. The man is consistent. And I have to agree, tactically, I think, Jesse, you're 100% right. And Arsenal are looking more like a club of the future because you can return to the Arsenal way, as Pep has shown. Being defensive, being rigid, being structured, you can return to that beautiful football way. But that may be a way down, and Arteta's willing to walk that path. Well said, Jesse. Senzo Sitebe says, Lampard must not fall into the trap of buying players for the sake of buying players. Also, I think Lampard plays better when he has kids on the field. The big money signings are too relaxed. So I think fair enough. And I think you need to be fair and say he's still got Ziyech to come back. Pulisic needs to come back. You're probably looking at Silva coming into the team to really see what his vision. Chilwell hasn't played yet. So you probably need 3 or 4 games. But where I agree with you, Senzo, is it's different now. When the kids, and by the way, folks, this works everywhere, is when you have to manage people that aren't sort of accomplished, it's much easier. And this is why I keep telling people that say to me, oh, Leo Messi had, or Pep Guardiola had Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, and Puyol. Of course he's going to win. No, people. And I think that it kind of goes to Senzo's point. The more talented the people, the players, the more expectation on the manager. Because when you can't stimulate top players, whether it be tactically, emotionally, whatever it is, if you can't push that button, because Xavi Hernandez can do all the tactical things. You don't need to coach me. Don't worry about it. You don't need to coach Ronaldinho. You don't have to coach Ronaldinho how to control a football and to play a 50-yard pass, no look. Yeah, they've got that taken. But you need to find a way psychologically to get him to 9 out of 10 every game. And it's much easier to be at to be at Arsenal, at Tottenham, at Leeds, at West Brom. The players aren't accomplished right now. Let's face the reality. So it's much easier when Lampard is the idol. The kids look up to him. So everything you say, they believe. But do you think Thiago Silva, if Lampard says something, is going to just swallow it? No. It's like, no, Chief. I've been the Brazil captain and arguably the best defender Brazil have had in 15 years. I'll tell you how it goes. Or coach me better. Show me something I haven't seen before. Don't you think Werner is coming in here taking Lampard's word for it? He's the best. I'm already the best, Frank. Make me better. Don't coach me. Drive me. Find that button. So I have to agree. And I think we're starting to see signs of it. And then where we'll see real signs of Lampard. I think, I always say, 10 games in the Premier League will let you know exactly where your team is in that season. And then Lampard will really have no excuses. Because then we'll have seen whether he's able to manage big egos who push back. The kids will never push back. They love him. He's an idol. So I think Senzo, great point. Great point. We'll keep an eye on that. Dave, what we got? Lulama Kabaga Chewbacca says LVG needed time to implement his philosophy in the Dutch way. As the Dutch say, it was his Ajax philosophy. He's Dutch. He's playing football. Ajax had Ega Davids. I went a little Spanish there. I can't do it. I don't have it. But philosophy, as they say in Holland. I agree. Remember, LVG, and to Senzo's point just now, LVG, where he made his career, for those who don't know, he built the Ajax team that shocked the world. Everybody says Fergie won with kids. You have no idea if you don't understand what that great 1995 Ajax team was. I'm going to say a few names to you. See if you recognize any of these. Reisiger, Davids, Seedorf, Kluivert, De Boer. Do you recognize any of those names? Because those names were part of a team where most of the team was 19 to 23 years old that conquered the whole of Europe. A bunch of children. People tell me Fergie won it with the kids. You just hold the phone there. Go and look at LVG's team in 1994, 1995 at Ajax. the famous Ajax kids. I mean, the best of the lot who never reached his potential, I believe, is Patrick Kluivert. But okay, Clarence Seedorf is the guy who took it to the next level. But folks, that team was where he made his name. Much like Lampard has done with his kids, is those kids idolized him. Let's be honest, Van Gaal after that has struggled. Because when you go to Barcelona, it kind of worked. He won, yes, I think it was one league title and a European Cup or Super Cup. But it was never the same. Because once people emerge from being children and admiring you, it's like, okay, I'm accomplished too now. Is what's the next level? Now you have to manage me psychologically. I don't need the X's and O's. So Louis van Gaal, maybe given time, he implements the Ajax structure. He had his philosophy. Who knows where it goes with United? They got impatient. And look, his downfall was this. The Di Maria signing, I don't believe was his signing. I don't believe it's his signing because he's more of a tiki-taka guy. And that was just destined for failure. So I think they made a huge mistake with LVG and I think they made a big mistake with David Moyes, by the way. Folks, it's wrong to not go all in on a manager and then fire him. It's the beauty of Roman Abramovich. No manager that's ever been fired from Chelsea can say, you didn't give me a chance. No manager. And it's kind of felt with United, they've kind of been half in, half out with every manager. Ollie's the first one they've gone all in. Even with Jose, they didn't go all in. Jose was complaining about the squad 6 months in. But Ollie has no excuses. And I think LVG should have been given time for the philosophy. So good point there, Lulama Kubaka. Dave, what we got? Chelsea... Lefika Morobe says, Chelsea actually had a fair shot this weekend. I think it's a bit harsh to criticize them this early with a new squad. They will be a threat down the line. I agree with you. Lefika, I agree with you. What my point is, they have no excuses. Like, I heard a few apologists, and I was looking on social media for Frank Lampard, and we must give Jorginho time. We've seen 2 seasons now. My only point is now Chelsea, to your point, there is no excuse now. I don't want to hear Frank Lampard is a legend thing. It's like, guys, let's let that go. Right? Yes, he was a legend player. We're in a new time now. And he has no reason not to be top 3 this season, especially, right? Because my thing is, if you want all the credit in life, you must take all the criticism. So, Frank, now that you've gone away from the kids, there's no more development period. Right? Clearly, you've gone away from the kids. Tammy Abrams not going to play. Reece James is the one, along with Mason Mount, who'll survive. Okay. Now you're saying to us, okay, there's no more developmental period. There's no adjustment period. I've got A-grade dogs now. All right. Now the expectation is lifted. And that's on Lampard's side, by the way. Now we have to say, hey, why are you playing Kepa? You don't have to. Why are you playing Jorginho? You don't have to. If Chelsea are a threat going down the line, let's give them all the credit. If they are not, though, I don't want to hear the same excuses and the excuses he got last season. And, you know, in life, there are excuses, there are reasons. Last year, there were reasons. He played the kids without the transfers. This year, if, as Lefika says, Chelsea are not a top 3 threat, I'm afraid we've got a very awkward conversation to have. I do agree with you. I think Chelsea will be a threat. But I don't want to hear any excuses for Lampard just because he's a legend. Should there not be top 3? There is no excuse. He played Kepa, he played Jorginho when he didn't have to, and he must ride or die with that. It may or may not change. I'm Lampard in, but I'm just telling you from an objective observation. No excuses. Dave, what we got? Ryan Alex Ferreira says, would Pochettino be able to make any difference with the current Man United squad? You know, Ryan, I would ask you this, and I believe yes. Yes is my answer, because Arteta had the same squad as Emre. Right? He had exactly the same squad as Emre. And whether you like it or not, yes, they went on to come 8th. Sure. But as football fans, we know when we see something is right. In 6 months, Arsenal look like a completely different football club. Because it's also, Ryan, for me, it's not just about the players, right? I think we all know this if you've supported any sport. It's never just about the players. It's how are you managing the relationship with the fans, the board? Because what is the secret to management in life, folks? You're always managing up, you're managing down, and you're managing sideways as well. I think Pochettino comes in, you know what you immediately will see? An identity. Because then I know what United are. We are intense, we're going to be nasty, and if you beat us, we're going to kick the living daylights out of you. Right now, I'm just not sure what Man United are. Are you a flair team with Bruno Fernandes and Pogba? Are you a counter-attacking team with Martial, Greenwood, and Rashford? Are you going to be physically dominant with Maguire, Lindelof, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka? What's your identity? Because you know what happens when you don't have identity? Football clubs and people in life as well, it translates everywhere. If you don't have identity, people will punk you. But you get Pochettino in straight away. Nobody's going to punk a Pochettino team. It's never happened before. There's no evidence. Southampton, nobody punked Southampton. First season, 8th. Came to Tottenham. What happened to Tottenham? They were nasty. Nobody punked Tottenham. Champions League 4 seasons or 3 seasons in a row. Straight away. Straight away. And is there a club in England that spent less than Tottenham? I mean, he came top 4 the one season. They didn't make a single signing. They didn't make a single signing, top 4 with Tottenham. So, Ryan, perhaps the football or whatever, what you may want to see might not change. What will certainly change is how other teams feel about coming to Old Trafford. Because right now, we feel like United are there for the taking. I'd love to know what you think as a United fan. But right now, I look at Man United, I think, these chumps. Ollie, you bring in Pochettino, I go, uh-oh. Just the feeling. Because that makes a difference in sport, how you feel. And then your brand identity, the Man United way. Poch is, you can see that guy. He doesn't come in there and make excuses and soft talk. This is who we are. We're going to do it my way. And he gets rid of people he doesn't want. The Ollie way, I'm not sure what the Ollie way is, and we're 12 months into the thing. All right. So, Ryan, I'd love to know what you think. My answer is yes. I believe he comes, you're guaranteed top 4. Because it's a better team than any Tottenham team he ever had. And you're guaranteed top 4 with Pochettino immediately. Love to know what you think. Dave, what we got? Ricka Swat. Man United should have kept Mourinho. He could have built something great. And the Man United executives were too impatient with him. You know, Rickus, here's my opinion. It's where you saw Ed Woodward's shortcomings. You know, in order to lead, you need to be comfortable enough to let people do their job. And Jose Mourinho is not a coach. He's a manager. Because what does Mourinho want? He wants absolute control. He wants transfer control. He wants schedule control. And I don't think Ed Woodward likes that. I think it's why Woodward is kind of chopping and changing. And it's why Woodward has struggled with the powerful managers. I don't think he was comfortable with LVG, with Mourinho. I think it might work for him with Ollie. Ollie's perfect. I'm a United guy. I'm just going to fall in place. And Ollie almost feels lucky to be at Manchester United rather than I deserve to be here. Every time we've seen a bit of a bulldog, and that's what Moyes was. Moyes, I mean, a bit of a legend at Everton. He probably felt, you know, we saw the reports coming out about he wanted to kind of get rid of a few players. He changed the diet at Man United. Rio Ferdinand has spoken about it. I don't think Ed Woodward is comfortable once the guy wants to be more than a coach. Ollie seems more like a coach than a manager, doesn't he? So, Rick, I completely agree with you. I think Mourinho is, folks, it's brutal to win. With Mourinho, before you bring him in, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, as we all have to be. Before you enter any relationship, if your girlfriend is fit, driven, she has a good job, right? She's driven, she's fit, she's ambitious, she's close to her family, and you're a lazy slob, you don't care about family, you're just a loner, and that's not going to work. And then you want to be shocked when you get together and you're unhappy. She was ambitious and driven without you. What, you're going to come in and change her? Jose Mourinho, when he came to United, it's almost like Man United was shocked that Jose was driven, that he was difficult, that he can be cantankerous. Isn't that crazy by Woodward? It was like they were shocked. And they didn't hand the club over to Mourinho. I completely agree on the Jose thing. And by the way, stop looking for an old Fergie. Fergie's gone. Fergie's gone. Stop talking about the United way as though Fergie's still around. There is no United way. There is a Fergie way. When you won, you didn't win the United way. You won the Fergie way. Stop calling it the United way. You had one person for 27 years. You must reimagine yourself. And hey, Listen, don't ever say this show is not informative. There's a great saying about having to reinvent yourself, right? Is to make something beautiful, man must suffer. And you will suffer either way, because man is both the marble and the chisel. So in order to sculpt something beautiful, there is suffering in that. To reimagine a block of cinder into something new, there is suffering either side. Because when you chip away at the cinder block, right, or the marble, is the marble must suffer and be chipped away, and your tool is suffering. There is suffering in change, folks. And Man United, I don't think, and Arsenal, I don't think, ever wanted to accept that pain of there was never a United way. There was a Fergie way. Fergie is gone. Let it go. Let it go. Folks, when you get dumped, don't bring your old baggage into the new relationship. That's what's happened with United 5 times in a row now. How's it gone for them? Great point there, Rikus. Dave, what we got? Senzo Sitebe, Clippers and Rockets. What do you do if you are those franchises? Also, what do you do if you are Giannis? I don't know. I would be able to leave all that money. Also, I am Giannis. Come to me. Look, Clippers and Rockets. I think the Clippers, you stay tight. You keep Kawhi. You keep Paul George. Number one, you invested too many picks and you traded away. You traded away too much to get him. Sport is difficult. Doc Rivers, for all that he is, give it another season, and you back your team to come back angry next year. And also, by the way, when there is a dynastic player, folks, sometimes you just wait it out. When the Barcelona great team was at their peak, when Steph Curry and the Splash Brothers, and then they got Kevin Durant, it's sometimes you just have to wait out greatness. Just wait LeBron out. It's probably another 2 seasons. There's nothing you can do about it. Then it's it's Kawhi. No one's stopping the Clippers. Right? Okay, Denver, that was first season. I stay. If I'm Giannis, listen, dude, leave. Stop listening to outside noise. This thing of loyalty and whatever, get your money and go and win. There's this vanity word that people love, is legacy. Stop with that. Get yourself to LA. Get yourself to New York. You'll get paid. You'll get paid. Right? So leave. It's about winning. Your career is short. You can always come back to Milwaukee. Leave, dude. It's about winning. You're a generational talent. It's a new time now. It's not 1995 where the league forces you to stay. You got to leave. If I'm Giannis, I'm out of there. I'm out of there this season. Don't think he's going to do it, though, because I think he's already starting to talk about his ego. And it seems like he enjoys being the guy. Some people enjoy being the guy because he goes to LA. He's just a sideshow, right? LA has Hollywood. They've got they got the LA Rams. They got 2 NFL teams. NFL is king, right? They got stars. They got, USC. So in LA, he's maybe a sideshow. You got in New York, 2 baseball teams, 2 American football teams. Maybe he doesn't want to, maybe he just likes being the guy. In Milwaukee, he's the only thing. Maybe that's why he's staying. But if I'm him, I leave. Clippers, I stay tight. Keep everybody together. Let's run it back one more time. Dave, what we got? But hilarious that Denver beat them, by the way. Cricket and TMO. When will they get it right? So many contentious issues at the moment. Can we do a segment on this sometime? Tell you what, tomorrow we'll do a cricket segment, folks. There's been 2 ridiculous. If you're a cricket fan and if you're an IPL fan, listen, Dave, our producer, is the biggest cricket fan I know. He's the biggest cricket fan I know. So I tell you what, we'll make sure tomorrow, right? We will do the cricket segment tomorrow. We will make sure we talk about some of the most ridiculous. There's a Mahendra Singh Dhoni thing that just happened tonight, I understand, which is out of this world. I'll look into it and we'll talk about it tomorrow. It's ridiculous because cricket's one of the sports where it's so simple. Cricket's not a dynamic sport. It's so simple. Unbelievable. Lifika Maroba says, MKT, I know it's early, but look into your crystal ball and tell us who the top 4 is in the EPL will be. And tell us who the top 4 in the EPL will be this season in order. Hey, Lifika, happy to tell you because I've already done it. Maybe, Dave, I don't know if we can find it. I think I did it. Was it last week, Monday? We got a banner for it. But anyway, I'm happy to tell you. Right? I've said it, and I'm not going to apologize. Man City, I'll give my reasons. right? Man City, I'll give you my reasons. Man City, it's the last season. Folks, when great teams have to win, do you know what they do? They win. And when I say have to win, I mean it's all in. It's the last season. It's Pep's last season. How do I know that? I've seen what I've seen. Pep, what's his cycle? 3 years out. Why? Because he's intense, he's demanding, and physically you can see him kind of falling apart. It's his last season. Barcelona, Bayern Munich. What was it? 3 seasons out. That's 2 teams in a row now. The intensity is a lot with Pep for everybody around and for himself. I've read all the books. So Man City, last season, because Pep's last season, Sergio Aguero is not going out like that, folks. It's his last season, right? Fernandinho, a great champion, is not going out like that. You've got 4 legends who are not going out like that. So Man City first. Second, I predicted Chelsea Football Club. I just don't think anybody else has the freshness that Chelsea will bring into it. New signing, some of the kids are around. Lampard's second season, right? As you said earlier, I think it'll work out. No excuses for Lampard if he doesn't. Third is Liverpool, and the reason I think Liverpool won't win the title or be top 2 again. I said it before. Go and look at the history. I'm not interested in looking like I'm right. I'm not interested in getting emotional. A mentor of mine has a great line. Hey, stop being interested in being right. Get it right. Being right and getting it right are not the same thing. We'll get into that another time. But she always says to me, hey, get your emotions out of it. So what does the evidence tell you? The evidence in Premier League history tells me every team at a championship level, the most is 2 seasons of winning, then you fall off a cliff the 3rd season. Go and look at the evidence. Only 1 team has gone 3-peat. That's Man United twice. And that's under Fergie. That's special. But every other team, look at every dynasty. Arsenal's great invincible. What did they do? 2 in a row, fall off a cliff. Mourinho's great dynasty. What did they do? 2 in a row, fall off a cliff. The only other dynasty that's ever existed in British football, Man City, under Pep, what have they done? 2 in a row, fall off a cliff. Liverpool have had 2 title-winning seasons in a row in reality. They went 97 points in every other season, but a season with Man City winning, getting 100 points, they win the league. So that's 2 seasons ago. They won the league last season. That's the end of your cycle. It's not because I hate Liverpool or whatever. It's just the numbers tell me that Liverpool's cycle is over. And I put it down to Jurgen Klopp is intense. People seem to think dynasties last forever. Fergie was an anomaly. Dynasties don't last forever. It's corrosive. Klopp is intense. I don't care how much you love the guy as the players. And we saw it. Last season, we started to see it. I don't know if you saw when Sadio Mane had a go at Mo Salah for not passing to him. That's the signs of it's intense in there. Don't think the rest of the team, it's not intense. We saw Virgil van Dijk. He started to make mistakes. It wears on you mentally to win. That's why teams only ever stay at the top in the Premier League. It's unforgiving. It's not the Bundesliga. It's not La Liga, right? Where you have walkover games for 25 games of the season. Every week is on TV, social media. It's gotten more intense. But more so, every week, the competition's insane. The competition is insane. Every team since 1992 in the Premier League, you win 2 seasons, you fall off a cliff. Liverpool have had theirs. And fourth, I think, is Everton. I'm being honest. And that's Carlo Ancelotti, folks. There it is. Lefika. Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Everton fourth. Everton are real. I'm sorry, if you don't think Carlo Ancelotti is going to get this team with that quality, Allen is proper. They've got themselves a real, what they call in Italian football, a regista. Somebody to control things in that half space between the back 4 or 5 and the midfield. He plays in that pocket. He's nasty defending, tremendous athlete. So Digne goes forward. Seamus Coleman, the luck of the Irish, goes forward. He can cover that. But also he gives them game control. Right? Quick passing. He's really the poor man's Makelele in there. Allen is a real player. And then they've got James Rodriguez with a manager who trusts him, a manager who wants him to succeed. James has still got that magic. I think Everton are better than anything else. Who else is on offer? I think, I think the Spurs thing, I think Gareth Bale is still going to get 25, 30 goals, but I just don't know if the identity crisis will be solved. Will they take the team away from Harry Kane and give it to Bale and Son? They're the two best players, not Kane. They're not a threat. Man United, I mean, it's too loose. So that's my top four. That is my crystal ball. I've looked into my crystal ball. Dave, what we got? Take a couple more, folks. We'll let you go. Senzo Stebe says, I want to see how the dynamic when Bale gets there, because I think it's going to be a massive ego thing between Bale and Kane. This is where it's important, and I totally agree. So this is in hindsight, folks. I hadn't seen this question. What did I say earlier? If you want to eliminate anxiety in your life, everybody must know their place. And Tottenham don't know their place. Nobody in Tottenham is willing to say Jose Mourinho must have absolute power. Because let me tell you right now what Jose does. He says, that's my best player. But this is definitely a Tottenham thing. If Jose had his way, Son's the best guy. And with the Bale thing, everybody knows my opinion now. I said it. I said he's the best player in the Premier League. He's better than De Bruyne, in my opinion. I don't care what anybody says. De Bruyne has never had the kind of pressure Bale had and delivered. Never. That's never happened. He had his chances in Europe with a great team. This Man City team is great on paper. De Bruyne has failed twice. Bale went to Real Madrid, and he helped Cristiano Ronaldo lift a Champions League 3 times in a row. And he was the guy in the finals, by the way. Bale wasn't a sideshow. He's a co-star. Gareth Bale's the best player in the league. And when Bale comes in there, you know what we do? We shift it to Bale. The only saving grace there, I might say, Senzo, is that they have a manager who doesn't care about being popular. It's going to become very clear. Gareth Bale and Son. Gareth Bale is the only genuine superstar in the English Premier League right now. Everybody else is a star. Mane is a star. Mo Salah is a star. Gareth Bale is a superstar. He's done it at Real Madrid. That's a different kind of pressure, people. That's not Liverpool, who haven't won in 30 years. That's not, I'm a Chelsea fan, but Eden Hazard was delivering at Chelsea, and we see how it's going for him at Real Madrid now. Real Madrid's the final level of expectation. And in life, there's one killer: expectation. Nobody in the Premier League has ever done it with the expectation of Bale. Bale took them to 3 Champions League titles in a row. And he was a co-star with Ronaldo. Don't tell me Ronaldo was the main man. He needed help. He couldn't win it without Bale for 2 seasons in a row. So Senzo, great point. But I think Mourinho's a smart guy. He doesn't have to be nice to anybody. Mourinho's here to win. When Bale arrives, give it 3 or 4 weeks, he'll get fit. And then that's all she wrote. And I think it might be too late by then. They will have probably lost too many games. But I think it's going to be clear. Harry Kane, you're going to be shifted aside. You are a sideshow. Ricka Swat, Man United is a team without defense. That is our identity. Lindelof is slower than a tortoise. Hey, Rickus, I don't think anybody can defend against what you've just said. It was ridiculous, that goal that they conceded. I'm sorry, to be beaten to the ball like that and be a centre-back at Manchester United, when I'm sure as a Man United fan, you remember having Pallister and Steve Bruce at the back. Vidic. You think was it Zaha or Schlupp who got that touch in front of Lindelof? You think they're getting that touch in front of Gary Pallister? Gary Pallister is cleaning out your shins there. He takes the yellow card, we reorganize, and if you clip the free kick over the top over Schmeichel's head, all right, so be it. Vidic is smashing your ankle there. This is Man United. You don't come and do funny tricks here. But it's soft. It's United. And I'm sorry, folks, it starts at the top. Rikus, I agree, there is no defense, and it's extremely worrying if I'm Man United. David, what we got? Jesse Randolph says, to me, it seems like Lampard bought players with no plan on how to play them. That's an interesting way of putting it. I'll tell you what. He has no excuses. That is my line. Is now, Frank, you've got your players. There's no more transfer ban. You got exactly who you wanted. We gave you the glory for, you did it with the youngsters, whatever. But in life, you get all the glory. What must you accept? All of the criticism. And now the pressure's turned right up. So let's see, JC. You may be right. Senzo Sitebe. Gareth Bale has more Champions League than Man United. Listen, and Senzo is a Man United fan. So listen, folks, expectations are killer in life. If you have low expectations and you go and achieve, let me put it to you this way. If you're a billionaire's son and you go and tell me, I'm a millionaire now, I'm not that impressed. If you come from a home of chaos and there's tragedy in your family and you tell me by 35 I was a millionaire, it's different. right? The expectations are different. So when you start off with a little bit of adversity and you go and achieve, I go, okay, wow, that's special. And Bale's special. I don't care what people say. Bale. I don't like to go on what's possible. I'm a sciences guy. Tell me what's true. What's true is Bale has delivered at the highest level over 5 years. Lefika Murube says, I'll take your point regards City, but even accounting for Liverpool falling off, is anyone capable of bringing the gap within a single season with the standards City and Liverpool have set? My only thing about Liverpool is that generally in the third season, so go and look at all of the seasons in the past, folks. Generally, that team that's won for 2 years, and I believe Liverpool have really won the Premier League for 2 years, even though it's been one. Generally, in that third season, it's not like they just kind of slip off. They fall off a cliff. They fall off a cliff. So I think it'll be a case more of Liverpool not being up to that standard rather than Chelsea being exceptional. I think if Chelsea get 80 points this season, they'll come second. I think Liverpool will struggle to keep it up with the intensity of the last 2 seasons to sort of replicate that form. Folks, we'll take 2 more questions. Guys, you have been great with all these questions. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, the MKT Show. Absolutely love it. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Also, please hit a like on the video because that helps us move up on the YouTube ratings. And like, share, subscribe. Remember to subscribe to the channel, please, folks. Let's take 2 more. We'll go with Senzo Stebe. He says, Denver Nuggets don't have any answers. Here is a sweep. Denver don't have a bench. LeBron is at the Jordan level where he has figured out how games with having to put figured out games without having to put everything on him. I'd say he's even better than Jordan in that sense. Jordan, it was all him, right? And then Scotty, of course, as the assistant, and then you've got you've got Dennis Rodman to go and do what he does. He's going to rebound everything. He might even take your girlfriend on the rebound. That's what Dennis Rodman will do. He took every rebound on it. So I think LeBron's great prize is generally, folks, if you've been around great people, whether it's at work, whatever it may be, they tend to be very bad at making other people great. But the truly transcendent people, the great human beings of our time, in any sport, in any field, whether political, philosophical, is even if they are great, they are able to say, I trust you to do your job around me. And LeBron James' greatness is that. And I think Anthony Davis must feel extremely empowered by that. And you'll probably see maybe AD wasn't sure before the series because it's all good and well for LeBron to be saying, hey, I'll put you in a position to take the big shots and be the main man. But for him to actually, in a big game, last second, to let AD take the 3 on a play that was called for LeBron, by the way. What does that do for AD when the king says, all right, let's go? Folks, that's exceptional. And the Nuggets, unfortunately, here's the problem, is Jokic can't live with AD. The problem with AD, for everybody else, is this is where Giannis should not be MVP. You know what? AD is the same defender as Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? First team defender, right? But then here's where he's exceptional. He's got the handles. He can put it on the ground. He's an absolute unicorn. He can put it on the ground. He's got handles, so he can get you on the block. Right? He can back you up on the block. But here's where he's special. And Kevin Durant is not as good a defender, by the way, as AD. But AD's got a mid-range game. Now, it's not Michael Jordan, but it's not Damian Lillard, but that mid-range game is sick. It's sick for a man of his size, 6'11", and then, folks, he can shoot the 3. So Joel Embiid must get the hell out of town. Joel has no mid-range game and can't shoot a 3. I mean, he's got handles, and Joel is exceptional. But he's a unicorn. They got nobody who can handle. Jokic showed. Jokic cannot handle the noise. Because, when a guy's 6'11", it's unblockable. It's why Kevin Durant was transcendent. He's shooting from what they call the arc of 11 feet. Nobody, even the best defender in the world, can get to an 11-foot shot. And then he's got the handles like, I don't know, man. So AD, they can't live with it. LeBron's just different. LeBron's the only guy who is what he is. By the way, 17th year in a row where he's first team in All NBA. LeBron is, it's not me. I don't want the Kobe MJ argument. I'm just telling you that nobody in the history of the NBA, 17 years, he's been first team All NBA. He's now the greatest player in the league for the longest amount of time, according to the league. That's LeBron. That's all I'm telling you. Swiss Army knife. He's going to be top 10. This doesn't happen, by the way. Top 10 points. He's probably going to be top 5 points and top 5 assists, folks. That's LeBron James. Nobody else is that. And, listen, LeBron's top 10 scorer. He doesn't even focus on scoring. Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? And then he's the assist king as well. Get it out of town. Get out of town. The greatest. We'll finish off on this, folks. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant show tonight. For the support, thank you. Remember, subscribe to the channel, folks. I'm so grateful for you coming on this journey. Push the like button because it's awesome. We're building something special, and it's not possible without the people at home. And so before I take the last question, the reason I love doing this show is that, you know, we all live in the world we live in, and sport for me is more than just sport. It is life. And if I can be with you for 2 hours a day, whether it's the podcast in your car, you plug in the YouTube channel on your drive in the car, is if I can just make your day more bearable for an hour and a half, entertain, make you laugh, you know, just forget about the real world for an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's why I want to do this. I like saying dumb things into a mic. Let's have a bit of banter. If I can be that, if we can be that, myself, Dave, the team, then that for me is an honor. To do this for a living is an absolute honor. So I want to thank you guys. It's so awesome, the feedback we've had. And let's keep growing. We want to be the best in Africa, and then we want to take Africa to the world. So to everybody who listens, it's all about you guys. And I'm having a great time. By the way, I have a great time. So thank you for that. So we'll finish off with the Rig, who says, how much do ASICs pay for the logo placement in the show? Can I get my company logo on your shirt? Listen, the Rig, if I were to say that number on screen, I would probably be taken out by higher powers. The size of the number we get for me to wear this logo on my shirt is so sickening. I would probably have to repent for the next 50 years if I told you. So the Rig, if you've got that Oprah kind of money where you got your own avocado orchard, then maybe. But if you don't have an avocado orchard at your house, then you can't afford to put your logo on this show, I'm afraid, the Rig. I'll leave it at that. That's a great question. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the MKT show is rolling. We're rolling into our 4th month. It's been an awesome journey. Tonight, you could have been anywhere with anybody. But instead, you chose this 5 out of 10 face and this 5 out of 10 voice. And to me, and from the big guy over here, Mr. GC Cliff, you've chosen to be with us. So once again, if we can just take you away from the world's troubles, you know, we're emerging out of a global pandemic. Psychologically, we've all been where we are. If this show for an hour and a half can be some sanctity for you, a place to laugh, a place to share, let's start a community. That's really what I want to do. I believe in community, right? Is sport, we are a community. No matter what club you support, come, let's have banter in a safe space. Let's have a good time. Let's laugh. Let's have a jab at each other, right? It's called sports banter. And if this can be a place to escape the world for an hour and a half and just be okay to laugh and live in a surreal world, let's do it. And let me be that vehicle. I'm happy to say stupid things into this microphone to entertain you guys. For today, the 22nd of September 2020, the year of the C19. Ladies and gentlemen, I am MKT. This has been the MKT Show.